Domne le dang podang meje dang changju sembe sa jo dang sangye sa de de na ju dang sum de sa nam du se xian de da sa ju de xie xian de ge yo de yin do sa tang bo ra to ga wa sa ni ba la de ne zhe ma me ba sa sum ba la ru jie ba de ne sa xi ba la ru chou wa sa nga ba la ni xin do jiang ga wa now page is going very fast. So Chubala, the new window Chuba, so Dimbala, Ringo Songa, Sabala, Miwa, Uvala, the little girl, Chubala,
So if we were to proceed through these stages, through these paths and these stages, then eventually we would come, start out on the Bodhisattva stages and then proceed along these until we have reached the final fruition of them. Generally there is talk of 10 Bodhisattva stages, but if one were to elaborate this, then there would be 13 stages altogether that have to be traversed. As it is said in the initial verse, or the root verse, first there is the beginner stage, then there is the stage of those who have truly taken to heart these instructions and traverse that path from one path to the other, from one stage to the next. And then there is the 10 Bodhisattva stages, which is then finally topped by Buddhahood itself, which would make the 13th. So nothing else has changed except the categorization. If we were to go about this in the prescribed way, then there are the 10 Bodhisattva stages, which are the first of great bliss or happiness. The second one is called immaculate. The third one is called the radiation of light. No, that's the fourth one. The third one is the arising of light. The fourth one then is radiating light. Then the fifth one is that which is difficult to train in. The seventh one, the sixth one is having reached there. The seventh one is then called immovable. The eighth one is immovable. The ninth one then is highest or sublime intelligence. And then finally there is the 10th and final one, which is called Cloud of Dharma, or Dharma Mega. And this is then being topped by Buddhahood itself, which would then, if one categorizes it in this way, adding the first two of beginner stage and so forth, which would then make up 13 altogether.
단 지부 조상지 지구 세야 되게 다 사람 탐지디 장유쌤 공 뒤에 나자라 냐면제 근데 사람 남겨 좀 봐줘나 근데 가발이 그래서 라인도 근데 지부 조가 상지지 추구 농구 tukkuti kusum mundu chöre 지부 토고된 수말.
So to reiterate, starting out with the explanation on the JOOL Ornament of Liberation by Gampopa, or the incomparable document, as he is known, there are rather in this text 6 main topics. The first one, just to remind ourselves, is that of the basis, which is the fact that we're all endowed with that which is called Buddha nature. The second one is the working condition, which is the fact of our having achieved the precious human existence. The third one is the helping condition, or the helpful condition, which is our coming into touch with a spiritual teacher, a spiritual friend, lama, guru. And the fourth one is then the instructions and the teachings which we receive from our teacher. We have come up to this particular point. All of this which has been explained so far indeed would be imparted to us by our teacher, and on the basis of applying these teachings and instructions as we have received them, we would then proceed via the 5 paths through the 10 stages, and then finally get to the 5th point, which is that of the perfect body, or the perfect manifestation of Buddhahood.
다들라 드네 돔들라 랑신 다든 예와당 남샤 장인 친이 당 셰프르 당네 된 듄지 소상지 지구는 된 담아요. 등은 안에 담보 랑신디 드네 상제대 가르레에서 나윤도 방법 분some 소바당 드네 예시 분some 소바데 드네 많이 요바데 랑신에 다든 슬라윤도 다든디 상제 유몽베 마리바 니레 상신 시제 최탐제라 로저 마리바 제베나 상제 상신다든 드네 예와서 시에도 예와텔라 드네 추구 용주 조베고 주베고데 지랑고的那像芒果园那样马里巴用说的那故事都等于要对吧？
So talking about these points, particularly pertaining to Buddhahood, the actual achievement of Buddhahood, this again is being explained under several subheadings as they have been set down by the incomparable Dr. Rinpoche in his JOOL Ornament of Liberation. He speaks here particularly of 7 points. First, he categorizes it into first the actual basic condition, the meaning of the word, the categorization, the sequence, the exact the exact number of categories. Then there are the particular characteristics and the special characteristics. The first of these 7 points is nothing else but what we have initially heard already about the potential presence of that which is called Buddha nature, or Buddhahood, within each and every sentient being. The second one, the meaning of the word, pertains particularly to the Tibetan words in which is used for Buddha, being Sangye. This could be very roughly and very briefly translated as having completely gone beyond any delusion. Then there's the categorization of the Buddhahood, or of Buddhahood as such, as a principle, comes along as the various Buddha bodies as they're known, the Buddhakayas, and here we speak of the Dharmakaya, the Sambhogakaya, and the Nirmanakaya.
남샤디 추구세야데 가르레스나 상지응원 추구디 상지응원제 델레 드네 추구기 진화당 두자랑기 드네 나와타 두제 나와당 문제 모양도 또 나와디 농구당 주구니세 대양마다베 나와가 주구나 레 중세 다와당 농구 나와 이 추구게 사이 대인도 상전도 추구당 신전도 수구나니 남샤디 드네 장내바디 중세대 가서나 지당 소도 고발을 되고 하래. 고발을 가질 때 거기서나 장도 탈신 받을 때는 추구. 근데 신도 탈신 받을 때는 수구 나오니. 근데 고발을 때가 장도 장수는 상황. 망 누고 하래. 용 누고 하래. 그래도 무슨 장 내가 이 말에.
This brings us to the number. Talking about the number of the manifestations of Buddhahood, or Buddhakayas, the Buddha bodies as they're known, there are 3. They are known, as has been mentioned before, as the Dharmakaya, the Sambhogakaya, and the Nirmanakaya. Now, as pertaining to Dharmakaya itself actually is that which is Buddhahood. That which is called Buddha is Dharmakaya. That which a being that realizes Buddhahood brings about for its own benefit is this Dharmakaya. It is the very principle of Buddhahood itself. Yet, this is something that is not visible or characterizable in any particular way. Then, depending on the perception of the various kinds of beings which come into contact with Buddhas, with exalted enlightened being in this particular way, then there are the Sambhogakaya and the Nirmanakaya, which are solely manifested for the sake of other beings. The way in which such beings perceive these Sambhogakaya or Nirmanakaya forms of a Buddha depends again solely on their own aspirations, on their own wishes, on the purity of their own mind stream. For us ordinary beings who have not yet achieved any of the Bodhisattva stages, because of our habitual tendencies, our concepts and ideas and so forth, the only thing that is being visible are Nirmanakaya forms of Buddha, of Buddhas. Buddhas manifest in this particular way, and the other Buddha bodies or the other ways of manifestation of Buddhas are not visible, are not perceivable for us in any which way. If we find ourselves to be, or if we were to look at those beings who have already progressed along the path in such a way as to dwell on either one of the 10 Bodhisattva stages, starting from the very first one, then we would be able to perceive Buddhahood or Buddhas in their Sambhogakaya form. So in this way, there is this categorization, and there are these numbers of these 3 Buddha bodies. This brings us to the characteristics of Buddhahood, and this Rinpoche says is a very elaborate chapter. There are many elaborate categorizations of characteristics. Each of these 3 Buddha bodies is endowed with 8 particular characteristics, and it would simply go beyond the scope of time that we have. So we are going to omit a in-depth explanation of these. And then finally we come to the last point, which is the special characteristics. And these particular characteristics, or special characteristics, are said they are pertaining to the similarities between these. They're pertaining to their permanence and their application. And this may serve as a very brief explanation of the end result, which is the bringing about of the full awakening of Buddhahood. And this in turn brings us to the very last topic of Gampopa's, his JOOL Ornament of Liberation, which deals with Buddha activity. If we may ask ourselves, once having achieved Buddhahood, is there anything else? Is this the end of everything, or does anything else come after this? Then the answer is very clearly, things will continue. Activity will continue. Once we have achieved Buddhahood, then we will effortlessly and ceaselessly act for the benefit of beings. And this is the particular characteristic of Buddha activity. It does not need any particular thought, it does not need any particular planning or anything of this sort. It just happens spontaneously in whatever way is appropriate for whichever being at any given time or at any given circumstances, and it will always be the most appropriate, the most perfect action that will in this way be manifested for the sake of beings. If we were to talk about the various aspects of that, then there is activity for the sake of beings by way of body, speech and mind of Buddhas. This Buddha activity by way of their bodies means that they are able to spontaneously and effortlessly manifest whatever form, whatever shape is the most appropriate in any given circumstance or any given moment for any particular being. Their activity of speech means that ceaselessly the wheel of the Dharma will be taught. That means that ceaselessly within this world, continuously again and again, the Dharma will be explained by way of teachings and instructions and so forth. And then finally there is their ceaseless activity for the sake of beings, which is entirely effortless, which is entirely free of any planning, of any thought, of any particular intention, which springs back from their enlightened awareness. In such a way, Buddha activity then continues without ever stopping, but completely effortlessly at the same time.
Sonam Champo Sherab, someone Yam John and Tare, Chu Shebatan, Chu Nyenpa, Yamdo, Yamnechiagi, Kokapchuma, Sherab, Sonam Champotam, Marayan Sherab Gojum. Then Zoshi then Takurumus Swana Shinki, two some comes from Chumar Chevan, Tambe Chujan, Nemano, Sumare, Namshu Tuana. In the Turbayanche, Sambayanche, Gombayanche, Tussam comes from Yamdo Chene, to do Castle Kongumla, Yamanchina, Telecali, Kalila, and the Yado Yatan Drone, Yaman Compendro to your Pendosum. Turba Chibuki Chenayan, Penoyomare, Samba Chibula Droina, Chorevare. Then the Goma Chevina, Tussam Mevala, Gomkale, and then the Tussam comes from Yamdo Chene, Chuyama Compendro Rotulatan, Pendomi Chibuyo. Then to judo, Chidanga, Yamne Sidu Tambalaji, to do Mongo Chidamanga, Nami Yore, Song the Lega Yore, then the Lagamango you do, Chudria to do Mendoza and Semaya, Doman Chambo, and the Demo, and then Chu Yamnesia, Kamanga, Chu Nanayang, and then Chu Sheba Tardu, Yamne Nedandaba, Yamne Yanga Wachana, Chu Yaman Didi. The mother may say Chu Yamnesia, the to do it Sevona, the Jana to do Kongomla, Maru, Ningon, Konda, Yana Legacy, Shimbeka, La Soba, Tabkadu Denaya, to the Kadu, Konayang, then Yamne, Mutuni and Chena, and the Kali Kalila Chug, Pasaya Washane, Pendosum, Gobachimuyare. Then one to Mambala, Chikasware, and Jitter, Nambuling, Simpson Tamse, Jigging Common, Simpson Yodo, the Nane Jam, the Lumandina, Shiva, Dewa, Tene, Longju, Pelwa, Chewing Yam, Compared on Rotuba, and then Jiggy Jigga, Pinson, Shambata, Sevetone. 去年写完那个2年前呢，这样呢，真的，俺最近就看见这西边说，也会用完说什么他们就不讲了听没懂吗？也就这西边说，我们也会用完说什么他们讲的2年那过来，2年的去年写呗，中间这个啥把它这些个去年送那个团他的，那写看见写不怎么样吧？的拉都冷呢，娘说冷呢，甚至来讲呢，真的这些个老来话，不用从我身上等的用完呀，这人都。 최단 강사니 소소로 송아만 임바 최단 강사 염도 짠네 근데 노라데 소주 단계 근데 연예도나 디 콤벨도 당왕체捐도나捐的我些个真的地方帮呀他是些但是呢帮人给那的소소给陆主阳소소些给样啊些좀那个단위 단위 고양 송아만 신기 나랑 기겐 체 나랑 야고 마서 나 단위 단위 자양 송아 나랑 자 차대 생겨 자서 고마래 단위 단위 자양 老中要我这养人要我这呢，大年大月各样意思，所以送往印度，真的就是空白等着都要当第一趟的碰到什么用的，真的估计下边等把汤，你这个真给吧，像3万样去年的空白等着啊，这些老的不从说话用的给，马上就能参学学。
Let me see what I remember of all of that. We have now come to the close of Rinpoche's explanation of the JOOL ornament of liberation by the incomparable Dr. Rinpoche or Gampopa. From among the 6 topics, the main 6 topics of this text, we have learned from the very beginning, from the fundamental condition, which is the presence of Buddha nature within all of us beings, up until the achievement of full Buddhahood and Buddha activity. We have heard an explanation of this, which on the one hand was not too long, but on the other hand also not too short. We have heard a nice, concise explanation that covered all the important topics. Now it is up to ourselves to put these into practice, to make this a part of ourselves. And if we were to practice the Dharma on the basis of these explanations, as we have heard, then it would serve us well to bring all the points into being as have been explained to us. Now, when we're talking about practicing Dharma, generally we hear about how we have to listen to the Dharma, how we have to reflect about it, and how we have to put it into practice. And these 3 have to be put together, these 3 have to be practiced as a unity. There's no way how any one of these alone can lead us to liberation. Simply listening to the Dharma in itself will not produce liberation within ourselves. Simply thinking about it, reflecting upon it, will not liberate us, and just doing practice and nothing else to the exclusion of listening and reflecting Dharma, that in itself will also be to no avail, and it will be very difficult indeed to proceed along the path and to progress on the path. So therefore it is indispensable that we continuously train ourselves in the unity of these three, of listening to the Dharma, of reflecting about it, and then putting it into practice by way of training. This has to be done. Having heard about these points, then apart from the Tsok feast of Milarepa that we're going to celebrate tomorrow, this brings our this year's summer course, Pension Summer Camp, to an end. We have come together here to listen to the Dharma as it was being explained, as we were instructed in it by our venerable teachers, by His Eminence Sangye Nyenpa Rinpoche himself and our very venerable and beloved Tenga Rinpoche. And in this way we have been extremely fortunate and extremely happy indeed. Great benefit has been derived thereof. Great merit has been accumulated through the teaching of our two beloved Rinpoches and through our coming here and listening to these teachings. And of course, as it is always when such things come to an end, we should by all means dedicate the merit that has been accrued in such a way for the sake of all beings. Particularly, we should make this wish not only for the sake of all beings, so that they may eventually achieve the full awakening of Buddhahood, but also for the long life of our beloved Tenga Rinpoche. We are in the fortunate position that Tenga Rinpoche in particular could come again this year, even though Rinpoche has been getting on in age recently and is now is getting older year by year. He is still in exceptionally good condition. So this is a source of great joy and happiness, not only for Sangye Nyenpa Rinpoche, but also for all of us. Therefore, we should all rejoice in the great opportunity that we have to see him again and again, even though he is already of a rather high age. So therefore, we should also dedicate all the merit that has been accrued in such a way to his long life. Now, if we dedicate such merit, this is predominantly the uttering of a wish, an intention. May all beings achieve happiness and so forth through our dedicating the merit that has been accumulated through these virtuous Dharma activities. But simply letting it be with a wish like this, simply letting it be with such an intention, that in itself is not enough. We also have to let deeds follow. That means we have to put that which we have to use that which we have learned, we have to put it into practice to the very best of our ability. Now it goes without saying that each and every one of us in our daily lives and our daily activities are very busy. We have our jobs to take care of, families to take care of, there is money to be earned and rents to be paid and so forth. And this seemingly leaves us little time for Dharma study and Dharma practice. But Dharma practice, putting it into practice, does not necessarily mean that one sets a lot of time apart and practices for hours and hours every day. Dharma can be practiced, indeed it is supposed to be practiced in our everyday lives. Whatever works we go about, whatever activities it is that we have to ourselves, whenever we do remember the precious Dharma instructions as we have received them, then surely, whether we are at work or whether we are at home, whether we're going for a walk or whatever, we will find 5 minutes or 10 minutes of putting such Dharma as we have learned into practice. And thereby, again, we bring about great benefit. So, in this way, this course comes to a close. With these wishes or these aspirations, we would like to close here, to bring this to a conclusion, and the merit that should be dedicated for the benefit of all sentient beings should be dedicated